Hello students, I am Damini and I am today going to present you the chapter on natural vegetation on behalf of personal tutors. You all are familiar with the word natural vegetation. When we say the word natural vegetation, we are saying it means the plant cover which has survived or which has stayed at a place without any disturbance, without the help of human aid. It has grown without the help of human aid. That means that the plant cover grows naturally depending upon the climatic conditions of the region, depending upon the rainfall, depending upon the sunlight, the type of trees and the shrubs and the grasses which grow in a particular place on their own is called as natural vegetation. We are using the word natural. We are saying it is the vegetation. That means we are saying that it is growing on its own, adapting to its environment and surviving there. Now, in this natural vegetation, if there is a large tract of land covered with trees and undergrowth, with the forest, with the undergrowth, then they are called as forest. A large tract of land covered with trees, shrubs and grasses has been available there, then it is called as forest. These forests are an important resource for our country. The forest provide the economic source of income for the people and are an important resource for the country. They are renewable resources. That means we can once again grow them and bring about changes in the environment. So these are the renewable resources which are available to us. They are renewable resources and they help us in many ways. Like the forest are responsible for bringing about ecological balance. The forest bring about changes in the ecology. The forest bring about rainfall, they cool the temperatures. So in this manner, they balance the ecological environment. Then these forests also tend to take in carbon dioxide and therefore they reduce pollution. The forest utilize the carbon dioxide for production of the food, and that is how they reduce the pollution that is there in the atmosphere. They are also responsible for bringing about a change in the humidity in the region. They are responsible for rainfall. Forests tend to bring in or tend to attract rainfall. They prevent soil erosion. When we say prevent soil erosion, the trees in a particular region bind the soil together, and that is how when the water flows over them, there is no soil erosion because of this forest cover. Along with this, they also provide habitat to the wildlife. There are a number of species which can survive in the forest only because of the environment that is conducive to them. So they provide habitat to the wildlife. So this renewable resource helps us in maintaining ecological balance, reducing pollution, maintaining humidity, because they take in carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide being a gas which tends to absorb heat, it tends to take heat, and that is how it heats the temperature. It raises the temperature of it, does not allow it to escape. So that is how it tends to heat the environment. So forests tend to lower, they take these for their consumption and then they tend to lower the temperatures. So they purify the air, they maintain the humidity, they prevent soil erosion, and they provide habitat to wildlife. Now, when we look at our country, India, because of its vast latitudinal extent, there are different types of forest found in different regions. But mainly, if we categorize them, they can be categorized into tropical evergreen, deciduous, mountain forest, desert and littoral. Of these various categories that we have, it is the deciduous forest which is most widespread. Deciduous is found to be in a very large area in our country as compared to the other four forests. Now, classifying the forest into in our country, we have the first one, the tropical evergreen. We have said that these forests are dependent upon rainfall as well as temperature. These are the two factors which are determining the forest cover. So if you look at tropical evergreen forest, then you will observe that this region south of Tropic of Cancer, this particular belt is having very heavy rainfall from the southwest monsoon. The southwest monsoon brings in heavy rainfall in the 4 months of June, July, August and September. And then this being below Tropic of Cancer is also the region which has high temperatures. So this is the region just besides Western Ghats. This is the region which is having tropical evergreen forest. Other than this, there are also other regions like this side of the eastern coast is also having tropical evergreen forest because this side receives rainfall from the northeast monsoon. So this region also has tropical evergreen forest. Even this part receives the rainfall from northeast and retreating monsoon, and therefore this also has tropical evergreen. Tropical evergreen is also found in northeast India. The northeastern part of India where the rainfall is heavy also gets the tropical evergreen. Other than that, it is also found in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they get the rainfall as the southwest monsoons begin, and that is how the region has tropical evergreen forest. So when we are thinking about tropical evergreen forest, we are seeing a region with about 200 centimeters of rainfall. The rainfall is very heavy and the temperature is, average temperature is 26 degrees to 27 degrees centigrade. The rainfall is heavy, the temperature is high. Now, when you look at this particular type of forest, they are quite similar to the equatorial forest that you have read earlier. They are more like equatorial forest. When I say equatorial forest, if you remember, we had said these forests are multi-layered. Multi-layered means at the lowermost level, they have the one layer of forest. Above that, there will be some other trees, and there will be trees at a very high height, almost till 60 meters. So when I'm saying that the trees are at different height, I'm saying that the forest is multi-layered. There is a tree at this height, there is a tree at this height, and there is a tree at a very high height. So the forest is multi-layered. Now why this is happening? Because the sunlight and the rainfall is very heavy. When I'm saying sunlight and rainfall is heavy, there are some trees which can rise as high as 60 meters. They can compete with the rest, all the other trees, and rise as high as 60 meters high to obtain sunlight. They are able to compete and obtain sunlight. There are certain trees which cannot rise that high but make a thick canopy covering the forest floor. That means the trees are joined with each other and making a covering. We are calling this covering as canopy. So there is another layer over there of a canopy layer. Then there are some trees which are below that, and that is how there are different layers. But because the rainfall is heavy, the forests are dense. The forests are dense. Along with that, there are climbers. Certain trees, to obtain sunlight, they climb up the and the branches of other trees and the trunk of other trees and reach a higher height. So they are dense because of heavy rainfall, because of good amount of sunlight. They are multi-layered. There are climbers which are found in these trees which can survive here. The trees have hard wood. It's very hot here, and therefore the wood dries up, tends to become hard. So the trees are hardwood, fine-grained. When I say fine-grained, it means that you must have seen the wood, and the woods which are used for making furniture have layering of layers, which gives it its beauty, and they'll look good. So they have hardwood. There is a thick ground cover. The ground is also covered. So these are the dense forests which are found in regions of heavy rainfall, the region which receive heavy rainfall, and mainly found in regions where the rainfall is above 200 centimeters. Now, when you think about these forests, we said hardwood, multi-layered, dense, thick ground color. The important trees here are rosewood. Now, rosewood is a wood which is used for making furnitures. This wood, again, as I said, they are durable. They are fine-grained. They are hardwood. So, found in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, the wood is called as rosewood. Then other than this, there is another one, sisam, again utilized for making furnitures, and it's quite similar to the rosewood. These another important characteristics of rosewood and sisam is that they resist white ants. They resist white ants. So that means your furniture will not get easily spoiled. And then there is less amount of rusting. The nails do not get rusted easily because of the hardwood. So nails do not rust, they resist. So it will be giving a good quality of furniture, and that is how this rosewood and sisam is utilized for making furniture. Other one is gurjan, which is utilized for making railway sleepers, found in West Bengal, Kerala, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So this was all about these forests remain green throughout the year. That means they do not have a particular season in which all the trees shed their leaves. The forest altogether, they do not shed their leaves, so they appear as though they are green, do not shed their leaves together, and that is how we are giving it as the name tropical evergreen. And then they are not commercially exploited. These forests are not commercially exploited, because they are not found in pure strands. When we say pure strand, we mean to say that the entire wood should be found at the entire, say, rosewood. If somebody wants to cut the rosewood, the entire species should be found at one place. Majority of a person wants to cut it, there should be quite a number of trees that are found at one place, so that the trees can be. There are so many varieties of species in this forest that you may find one rosewood tree here and another 2-3 different kinds of trees here, and then after a long distance you may again find a rosewood tree. That means that to cut it will not be economical. So these forests are not found in pure strands. That is how they are not commercially exploited. Secondly, they are very dense forests. So dense means, again, they are not dense and they are not found in pure stands. That means the forest is very thick and you just find one species, one tree here and the next one at a certain distance. So it's difficult to cut a particular type of tree in the forest. And thirdly, there is lack of transport. The transport is not, traveling in this forest, you may not be able to travel in some proper vehicle or something until and unless they are commercially exploited. So lack of transport also makes it a reason why they are not commercially exploited. And then you need to also remember that these are called as rainforest. We have said why they are called as evergreen, because they do not shed their leaves all together in a particular season. They do not shed it together. So they are called as evergreen. But then we said rainforest because they are dependent on heavy rainfall. The rainfall has to be heavy for their where these types of forests are found. So rainforest. And the third thing that you need to remember about these is that they are not commercially exploited, maybe because they are not found in pure stands, they are dense and they lack transport. Wide variety of species are found, a number of species are found, but still they cannot be exploited. Other than this, we have the second category, the deciduous forest, the monsoon forest. Now, these are the ones which are again dependent upon the monsoon. The amount of rainfall is 150 to 200 centimeters. We are calling them deciduous because during the dry season, they shed their leaves. During the spring and the summer season, these forests, they shed their leaves. And that is how they are called as deciduous forest. Mainly these are the ones which are widely found right from Shivaliks, foot of the Himalayas here, Shivaliks, into Chota Nagpur Plateau, covering the evergreen forest region here, and then eastern side covering the evergreen, and the eastern side Chota Nagpur Plateau. Mainly it is the tropical the deciduous forest which is found in a large area in our country, and they are economically important species of forest. Why they are economically important? Because wide variety of trees are found, and secondly, they are open in nature. That means they are found in pure strands. We said pure strands means one particular species will be found in a large area. You can cut them easily, and it is not as dense as tropical evergreen. It is open by nature, so you can easily get into the forest and cut these species of plants. So they are open in nature, they are not found in pure strands, they are the most economically valuable. And then we said they occupy a large area as compared to the evergreen forest, called as deciduous. They are called as deciduous because they shed their moisture, they shed their leaves in a particular season. Now look at the important trees here. Teak is an important tree here, and it is used for making furniture. Now here again, when we say teak, they do not rust. Nails do not rust, resistant to white ant, and durable. And that is how this furniture is utilized, this wood is utilized for making furniture. Other than this, they are found in Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. Then we have sal, which is used for making railway sleepers. It is found in pure strands, found in many states, Bihar being one of them. You all are familiar with sandalwood, which is found on the eastern slopes of the Western Ghats. It is found in Karnataka, in the state of Karnataka. It is found in the eastern slopes of Western Ghat. It is a scented, used for making perfumery. It's a scented kind of wood which is used for making handicrafts and such things, crafts thing, and it is used for making perfumery. It is a scented kind of wood, so we are calling it as sandalwood. Another important species here is myrobalan, which is used for the fruit of the tree yields material for tanning leather. for tanning the leather, myelobran is being used. So there are some of the important trees: teak, sal, sandalwood, myrobalan. As compared to the evergreen, here the temperature is, here the rainfall is slightly lower, 150 to 200 centimeter, though the temperature for both remain nearly the same. After deciduous and monsoon forest, we have the third category, that is the desert and the semi-desert. In some text, you'll also find this as scrub forests, thorn and scrub forest. Now, these are the forests where the average temperature is 25 degrees to 27 degrees, but the rainfall range is very less. For particularly for desert region, it is 25 centimeters, and for semi-desert it is a little higher than this. They say it can exceed up to 100 centimeters, but the semi-desert only includes thorn and these scrubs which are found scattered here and there. So this forest is mainly found in the region of, in the state of Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat. Extreme western side it is desert, and then a little towards the east it is the thorn and the scrub. Where the rainfall is little higher, it is the thorn and the scrub. How these forests or the trees in this forest adapt? They have stunted growth. They are not very tall trees because they don't get very high amount of rainfall. The tree doesn't grow very tall, so that there is less moisture that can escape from the tree. The tree can retain its moisture. The roots of the tree are very long, so that it can pull in water from great depths. The water can be pulled up from great depths, and that is how they have long roots. Stunted growths, fleshy stem. The stem is fleshy so that it can retain water. They have, the leaves are not there, and the leaves are converted in the shape of thorn. It serves two purposes. There is no leaves there. That means that the leaves are in the form of thorns on the stem, and these help in protection. Certain wild animals, if they tend to attack, try to eat the plant, then they have thorns on them. So it does the work of protection also. Fleshy stem, they have long roots, stunted growth. These forests are also found in a part of a region in the southern India, in this particular part. That means the rain shadow area of the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats, where the rainfall is very less. The rain is mainly towards the western side. By the time the winds reach here, they become dry. So this particular belt, you'll have to, it's generally asked as Central Maharashtra. So this region is also the one where the rainfall is very less, and we find generally this thorn and scrub and the desert vegetation in this particular part. So we have desert vegetation here. We can say southwest Punjab, Haryana, and then Rajasthan, parts of Kutch, Gujarat, and then central Deccan. We are saying not Maharashtra but central Deccan. Okay, it's central Deccan where this is again found. How they adapt when they ask you? Stunted growth. The trees are not very tall. Generally there are shrubs. There are long roots to pull out the water, fleshy stem, thorn to protect them. The leaves are converted into thorns. And very important tree here is the babool, which is an important tree of this particular forest. Now we look at the next one after desert and the semi-desert is the mountain forest. As the name designates, these forests are found in the mountainous region. Okay, the Himalayan region in the northern India, and in the Nilgiris and certain Annamalai, some of the hills over here. These forests are found, the mountain forest. Their rainfall being 150 to 200 centimeters, and the temperature is generally below 20 degrees centigrade. The temperature is quite low, below 20 degrees centigrade. Rainfall 150 to 200 centimeters. These are a mixed variety of forest. So this is the region for these are the mixed variety of forest. What do we mean when we say they are a mixed variety, or what do we mean to say when we say that they change with the altitude, the forests change with their altitude? We mean to say as the temperature goes on decreasing, as we go higher up, the type of trees go on changing. If you look at the Himalayan region, the lowermost region, where the height is less, the lowermost region here has tropical deciduous type of forest. So where the temperature is slightly higher and the trees are tropical deciduous, which can shed their leaves in a particular season. Then as we go a little higher, we have temperate deciduous forest. Temperate deciduous. As we go higher, and then when we go a little more higher, other than from 1500 to a little more higher, the forests are coniferous. That means they are cone shaped. They allow the snow to flow down. The trees do not allow the snow to stand here. The snow slides down the tree. The tree is so shaped. So we call it as coniferous. The word cone, coniferous tree. So then we find the coniferous forest at a little higher altitude, and a little higher above this is the alpine forest, where we have the trees which are very, very thin, and they can sustain in the snow. So we have at a very high altitude, it is alpine forest, and above that it is the snow line, whether it's completely snow, no tree cover is being found over there. So mountain forest is like a mixed variety. As we go from lower height to a higher height, the type of forest goes on changing. Tropical, which can survive in a little hotter climate, tropical deciduous in the lowermost level. When it becomes a little cooler, then we have temperate deciduous. These are also like trees quite similar to the deciduous forest, coniferous and the alpine forest. These forests generally have softwood. Now the temperatures are not very high here, so the type of wood is softwood, and this type of wood is mainly used for packing material. It's used for making matchboxes or making things for packing material, and the wood is softwood. The examples of this is Chirpine. Chirpine is an important tree here, which is used for extraction of resin or turpentine, found mainly in UP and Karnataka. This tree has a softwood. Then we have another one, the Deodar, which has scented wood, found in Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir, this region. So important trees here, Chirpine and Deodar, are the important trees of this mountain forest. We have said mountain forests are found mainly in the Himalayan region and in some parts in Nilgiris and hills in southern India. Okay, the next one and the last one other than this is the littoral forest. Now littoral forest is found in along the deltas. The word littoral meaning on shore. So these are found in tidal regions, and these are the forests which can survive in fresh water as well as saline water. They can survive in fresh as well as saline water. But these are found, a large part of littoral forest is here in the Sundarbans region and other tidal regions they are found. They are the ones which can sustain the rise of the water. During the time of tides, the water tends to rise, and when the tides recede, the water is less, so they can survive in a high amount of water and less amount of water. They have breathing roots called as pneumatophores. Breathing roots, we are saying, they have breathing roots, because sometimes the water is high, so they have to breathe through that, and then the water recedes, so they have to adjust to this kind of atmosphere. They have to adjust to this kind of conditions. So they are called as littoral forest. They are also called as mangrove, or they are also called as tidal forest. Along the shores, along the deltas, these are the forests which are being found. So this is how it is. So we have 5 main categories about the natural vegetation: the tropical evergreen, deciduous, we have mountain forest, and then we have desert vegetation, and then we have littoral forest. So littoral is found in patches along the. Okay, other than this, we need to know the reason for the decline of forest, and we need to know the reason for the decline of forest and what exactly is social forestry. What are the steps taken for increasing the forest cover in our country? We are familiar that the forest report which gives us the study about the amount of cover, it says only 21% of the land in our country is covered with forest, and the government aims to increase it right up to 33%. That means they say that 1/3 of the land should be covered with forest, but it is only the 21% of which is covered with forest. So there are ways and methods to increase the forest cover, as well as there are studies and there are methods being utilized in ways to increase the forest cover, because it is very less. We have to understand why these forests are declining at a very fast pace, and then we have to understand the concept of social forestry, which we will be doing it in next series. Thank you.